A few years ago, there was a business called Growth Operating that came. It was very, very simple. You sign one creator, you launch a low ticket Discord, and you guys get rich together. But we've gone to the point now in 2026 that that's not the case. So in this video, I'm basically going to show you guys exactly how I was able to scale as a growth operator and make $40,000 a month, and how you guys also can do the same. This is the exact business model that allowed me to get a penthouse like this and live the life of my dreams. And what I'm going to teach you in this video is meant to do one thing, and so unlock the part of your brain that's going to actually allow you to scale, whether as a growth operator or with a marketing agency as a whole. I want you to think this. Now, before I get into this video, I want you to think, and I genuinely really want you to understand that like, these things are actually fucking possible. It's possible to have DMs filled with clients wanting to work with you. It's possible to actually be working 3 to 4 hours a day and making a lot of money from it. All these things are real and all these things are possible. And the only person that's stopping you from getting there is yourself, right? And the first limiting belief that you really have to understand yourself in order to scale as a growth operator, just scale as a marketing agency owner, is really just understanding that these things are possible. I think a lot of people who are starting out that are trying to get to even $50,000, $100,000 a month, what's really stopping them is genuinely believing these things are possible. And I've generated these numbers for my clients. You can go through my YouTube channel and you're going to see all of these clients that I've worked for and the numbers that we've generated for them. The key to really getting to the point where you genuinely understand that these things are possible is that you have to keep telling yourself that. There's going to be a lot of times where you're going to have doubt, or you're going to think that you can't do it, or that maybe you're not meant for this life. But the reality is that you are, and you just need to tell your brain that over a period of time you're really going to start seeing change. Because the only thing that's stopping you from being where I currently am right now, or vice versa, is knowledge and is our brain. Because I was once in this position where you were at. And this is not me trying to guru you or anything like that, but I also started from the bottom. I didn't have clients handed out to me, and I actually had to grind just like you're probably having to grind right now to get your first client or to scale to these big numbers. And I remember having this limiting belief removed when I specifically moved to this apartment building here in Tempe, Arizona, or Scottsdale, Arizona, whatever you know, called West 6, and seeing all these people live with these nice cars and going to nice restaurants, things like that. And then that's that mental shift that allowed me to genuinely really understand that these are possible. And that's the first thing that you really need to know if you really want to scale in this business model. The second thing I want you guys to understand is that in life, there is no skipping steps. There is no shortcuts taken. And if you try to take shortcuts, eventually you will get bit in the fucking ass for taking these shortcuts. And the best way I could, give you an example for that, for you to really understand, is that when you were a kid, the way you started walking was you crawled, and then eventually you stood, and then you stood again and fell, stood again and fell, and then eventually you took your first step, and then you took your first step and fell, and then you kept on going over and over and over again until you were able to walk to your parents. And then you got to the point where you were just able to walk on your own. And you see that same exact pattern again when you're a teenager, learning how to drive. How are you taught how to drive? Well, it's very simple. You go with someone who already knows what they're doing, and you start with the very fucking basics. And that is maybe just parking the car, maybe just turning it on, driving in a parking lot, or maybe driving in your small community, in your neighborhood, and then eventually you get to highways, and then after highways, you go to stores and things like that, and then after the stores, you maybe go to a freeway. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to get to the point is that you can't skip any steps. And if you genuinely believe that you're going to be able to skip steps in business, or with growth operating, or with just a marketing agency as a whole, you will fail. And that leads us to the main point of this, is that in order for you to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to pay one way or another. You can either pay with your time or you pay with money. Now, what I mean by paying with your time is that you going out there, going through all the fucking hard work that you have to go through in order to succeed, to getting your first client, to losing that client, then getting another client, then understanding that you have to filter out clients better, and then learning client acquisition. All these steps that you're going to have to learn in order for you to get there, one way or another, you're going to have to pay. Or you could pay someone like me, a coach or consultant, to help you get to that point quicker, right? And if that's for people who have capital but don't have a lot of time, and shameless plug, whatever you want to call it, if you're interested in coaching one-on-one, type form below. If you qualify, you book a call. But back to the video, one way or another, guys, you're going to have to pay. And the reality that I came with myself, because it's like I also bought coaching programs, and I think in the past 2 years I spent, I would say, like $15,000 to $20,000 on coaching programs. And that's because I was like 18, 19 years old, and I wanted to make a fuck ton of money. I wanted to, get a penthouse. I wanted to, go to nice fancy restaurants, nice dinners, and all these things. And I didn't want to sit there waiting every single day, or just waiting time, or stressing over dumb stuff and maybe making mistakes. So I decided to buy coaching, and I got there a lot quicker. And that's probably where you are right now. And it's very, very simple. If you have funds and you want to get there quicker, invest into coaching. And if you don't have funds, understand that you're going to have to pay with your time. One way or another, you're going to have to pay. So it's better if you just understand and accept that now. And that leads me to the last point of this, is that when you're paying and when you're struggling, this is like the process that you guys need to understand that you have to go through in order to get to where you want. When you're going through struggles, this is what you have to go through to get to where you want. When you can't get a client, you're learning client acquisition. This is a skill you have to learn to get to where you want. Maybe when you're learning sales, this is a skill you have to learn to get to where you want, to become the person. And becoming a person leads us to the next and last topic of this video, is becoming the person that makes whatever goal you are trying to get to. If your goal is your first for $10,000 a month, you have to understand that there's a version of you out there that's making 10K. He's there waiting for you. You watching this video, that person's waiting for you. Now, for you to become that person, it's going to take effort. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to actually work to get to that person, you know, cutting out bullshit, cutting out maybe gooning, you know, junk food, sleeping late, you know, maybe even having a fucking girlfriend. Whatever is stopping you from getting to that person, you're going to have to cut that shit out. And if you don't cut that shit out, you're going to pay. You have to understand, guys, like every single waking hour that you're not going after your goals, you are paying for it one way or another, right? So back to becoming that person who you want to be. There's a version of you out there who doesn't sleep in. There's a version of you out there who's making a lot of money. There's a version of you out there who's signing the clients. There's a version of you out there, you know, who's living the life of his dream, but you have to become that person. And no one is going to do that for you. It doesn't matter if you invest into coaching. It doesn't matter if you ask your mom, your dad, you have to do that for yourself. And that's the third pillar that really allowed me to, you know, scale to that next level. Right now, I'll be fully transparent with you. I'm trying to scale to the $100,000 a month mark. There's a lot of habits that I'm gonna have to change to get to that point, you know? And some of it is waking up and not sitting on my phone. Some of it is cutting out bullshit that doesn't really matter. Some of it's like fixing and like actually working on the business instead of in the business. It's small stuff like this that's actually going to allow me to scale, right? So whoever you want to be, sit there right now, like get a pen and paper and ask yourself, that person that's making, let's just say you're just starting out, that want to make $10,000 a month, what does he have to do to get there? Audit your life. And if it doesn't make sense or it doesn't match up, get fucking rid of it. It's not important. If you want to get to a point where you have the life that you want, you have to fucking be cutthroat, guys. You have to be cutthroat. And if you're not cutthroat and auditing your life, you're going to pay one way or another. So what I have for you guys, so those are the 3 mindset shit that I have for you guys. If you are someone who's interested in working with me one-on-one, click that first link below. It's a type form where if you qualify, you'll be able to book a call, whether you're a coach or consultant or you want to become a growth operator. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.